Hi, hello, welcome again. This is Mr. Jamal Argudela Cruz again, and we are now learning the course 1500015 English for Presentation. So today we are now in Unit 4, as you can see in this graph. So we will be learning about graphs here. So I hope that you are going to stay with me until the end, and you'll be learning a lot from this unit. So see ya! Okay, so again, it's me. Welcome to Unit 4. So as you can see from this graph, that is the title of Unit 4. So I'm Mr. Jamar Largo de la Cruz. This is 150015 English per presentation. Let's proceed to the objectives. All right, the objectives of this unit is identify the meaning of the graphs for vocabulary, and then for language and practice, determine the use of trends terms in presentation in the past simple or present perfect, adverbs or adjective forms, and then describe and interpret a graph. And then next is for listening, describe a graph and then develop how to describe trends on charts and graphs. These are our objectives for this unit, for Unit 4. This is the beginning of week 7 where you will learn the following. So, number 1, you have to identify the meaning of the graphs, and 2, determine the use of trends, terms in presentation in the past simple or in the present simple. Also, in present perfect, adverbs or adjective forms. And of course, describe and interpret a graph. So let's start now with a game. So let's proceed now. In this part, you're going to guess the country, the flag, and the graph matching game. So the students will analyze the graphs correctly, and then you're going to um, what's this? Guess what country is the the graph referred to. So example, we have here. So what do you think are the countries that, you know, of course, according to the GDP. So we have here the highest is 14,799,175 dollars. So you're going to tell me, or you're going, there are how many here? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're going to think of 10 countries that which you think represent in every graph. So if you are the highest team that would guess, any country would win, of course. So as you know, there are big countries, and if you're going to be, this is in the world, richest countries in the world. So there are so many big countries around the world, and there are so many countries around the world as well. But you can think of the richest. So we all know that there are the first world countries, second world countries, and the third world countries. So we have here from Asia, from America, from Europe, Africa, or so you are going to think of those countries, and then you try to think of 10 countries from that, and then if you get um, the highest, and then you will win. All right, very good. So let's see what are the countries this GDP belongs to. So this one. All right, there you go. Okay, so the first one is actually, hold on. All right, the first one is actually, uh, okay, hold on for a while. All right, is actually United States. Okay, so the first country is United States. Next is China. And the next is Japan, Germany, France, United Kingdom, Italy, Brazil, India, and Canada. So that is the country that belongs to this GDP. The highest is United States, and the second is China. All right. Surprisingly, Japan is the third. All right. Good. Now let's proceed to the graphs, the types of graphs in charts. So identify all the types of graphs and charts in the visual. So tell me what kind of graphs and charts are these? So let's go. What do you think is this? What visual is this? So there are so many. There's so many graphs out there. And then we have the line graphs. We also have charts, pie charts, bar graphs. Okay, this one is bar graph. Good. Next. Okay, this kind of graph is called, if you can see this kind of graph, this is the line graph. Okay. Next, if you can see like this is very obvious using rows and then columns. This is the table. That is correct. And the next, all right. The next one, hold on. Okay. The next one is this one. This is the pie chart. So this is what you call the pie chart, okay? So if it's like divided as a circle and divided into pieces, so that is what you call the pie chart. Okay. And this one is, of course, very obvious. It's the map. So we use this one a lot, especially in the history classes. All right, so let's move. And this one, this is what you call the organizational chart. All right, thank you. And this one is, all right, the flow chart. Okay. And technical drawing. Okay, engineers are using this one. Drafting, this kind of people are doing this one. And constructions. Okay, let's go now to language. Thank you so much for that. So moving on is the language part. So in language part, we're going to discuss about first talking about the trends of past simple versus present simple. So the use of past simple for trends. The past simple tense is used to describe completed movements or trends that happened in a specific time in the past. So example for that one is the key features of past simple for trends is completed action. So the movement or trend is finished and no longer happening. So specific time reference, the trend is linked to a particular time in the past. Example, last year in 2005, between May and July, or something like that. Next, for the past simple, so signal words for past simple is like last month, last year, these things. Sales increased significantly. Okay. In April, the unemployment rate rose to 5 million. From 1997 to 2001, production declined, something like this. So, verbs indicating change. So, we often use verbs like rose, increased, declined, doubled, dropped to describe changes in trends. So, example, the population rose to, okay, as of 2025. Uh, the 2024, the population declined because of, all right, disasters, diseases, something like that. All right. Next is the example of past simple and trend analysis. So example, positive growth example. Between May and July, our export business almost doubled. So you can say this one. And then for decline example, in 2003 alone, China's car production increased by 8%. The increase happened in 2003, and we are not discussing whether it is still rising. So that's an example too. Next is the examples of past simple and trend analysis. So decrease. The number of German investors declined since 1998. So that's an example for past simple. Let's proceed now to present perfect for ongoing trends. So no specific time instead of mentioning a completed time. So example, we use words like since for over the past or for or over the past, okay, over the past 5 years, something like that. So this is not about like no specific time because this is present perfect. Describes change over time. So we use verbs like has increased, has risen, has declined, has grown, and so much more. The signal words for present perfect is the word since 1998, for this month, this year, over a period of time, over the last decades, over the past 6 months, something like this. This is the talking about the trends. Now, example of present perfect and trend analysis. For decline, the number of German investors have has declined since 1998. So something like this. And then growth, example, the US economy has grown rapidly over the past 4 months. Okay, hold on. The economy started growing 4 months ago and is still growing now. So this is an example as well. House increase. House prices have risen. Risen is like an example also of increase. So risen dramatically this year. So something like this. Okay. Now let's move on to speaking. All right. Speaking. So choose any graphs from the slides or use your own graph to present by following the checklist below. So to present it in the class as well. So these are the checklist for using visuals, graphs, and charts. Number one, make your visuals clear and easy so that people or the audience can easily track down and understand what you are presenting. Number two, start by telling your audience what the graph or chart illustrates. Number three, highlight the key points. Number four, say why these points are important. And number five, use different verbs to express movement or development. So just like the example I have shown to you a while ago in the language part. So you can use the past simple and the present perfect. Especially the signal words and the phrases that you can present your data or your graphs or your charts in your presentation. Okay, so that is all about the speaking. So I hope that you can present this one in the class and you can do it very well. Thank you and good luck to you. All right, so choose any graph. So this is an example somehow for uh, an example for a graph. So this is a line graph. So you can use this one or you can use your own graph. All right. So I will give you here five types of graphs. So you can choose this kind of graphs and then present it in the class. Okay, number three. Then number four, the fourth graph. And the fifth graph. Great. Okay. Now, this is the end of week 7 where you learned the following. So, the first one you learned a while ago were the types of graphs on page 32. So, I hope you could not forget that. And then the next one is we were talking about the trends using past simple and present perfect, adjective, and adverbs on page 36 and 39. And we also describe a graph, whether from the book or your own, using the checklist on page 41. So I hope that you master the description of the graph and you already determine and identify what types of graphs or what graphs we have, all of them. So thank you so much for that. So let's proceed. And now let's move on to the week 9 where you are going to learn the following topics. So describe a graph. So since we discussed already the types of the graph, so I'm going to give you graphs or charts and you're going to describe it based on what you have understood from the topic we discussed a while ago. And you're going to also to develop how to describe the trends on charts and graphs. So I'm going to present and help you give you phrases and how you are going to develop the charts or the graphs based from the illustration, or how are you going to interpret the table based from the picture using the trends. Using the trends that we are going to discuss later on. So please bear with me, okay? Now, this time, let's proceed to the listening part. So, while listening, you have to complete these sentences from the two excerpts, okay, from the boxes, then listen again to check. So, let's listen first.
Unit 4, Exercise 5. Presentation 1.
First, I'd like you to look at this graph, which shows the ups and downs in our passenger volume over the past 9 months. As you can see here, passenger numbers fluctuated between 2.1 and 2.3 million in the first 4 months. They even rose moderately in May, reaching just over 2.5 million at the end of the month. In June, you'll notice a sharp fall in passenger numbers as a direct consequence of HLX's entry into the market. Now, as you all know, HLX is a no-frills airline with direct flights to almost all major Southeast Asian cities. Passenger traffic slumped to about 1.5 million, a decline of almost 40%. In early July, we introduced a new, more aggressive pricing system to boost sales. As a result, ticket sales started picking up in July. By the end of September, passenger numbers had reached just over 2 million.
Presentation 2.
On the next graph, you'll see the sales figures for Systex in the past 5 years. Let me now highlight the most important facts about our hay fever medication. Despite an intensive advertising campaign, we had a slow start in Europe in 2003, selling 500,000 units in the first 12 months. The figure rose by about 50,000 in the following year. In 2005, however, sales rocketed to 1 million following the problems at TC Pharma, our main competitor in the anti-allergy sector. 2006 saw an even further increase in sales to 1.3 million due to the extremely warm and long summer. As expected, sales went down again in 2007 and stood at just over 1 million at the end of the year.
Upon listening to our listening part a while ago, to the audio a while ago, so we're going to answer now the blanks here, the activities, so for presentation 1 and presentation 2. So let's move on. All right. Decline, fall, fluctuated, picking up, reach, rose, slumped. So number 1, the answer is fluctuated. Number 2, the answer is rose. Number 3, fall is the answer. Number 4 is slumped. And number 5 is picking up, picking up. Number 6 is reached is the answer. Good. For presentation 2, the answer is increased. Number 2 is went down. Number 3 is sales. Rise in sales. Number 4 is rocketed. Okay. Thank you for listening. So let's proceed now to the reading and writing. So before we're going to read, I want you to answer this question. What advice would you give someone who was to describe trends on graphs in charts? So work with a partner to make a list of tips, then read what advice James and Gillum, an international firm providing financial service. Okay, let's proceed now to reading. So they have actually suggestion or tips. Number one, think about the number of visuals you want to use. That is correct. You should know the visuals or how many slides you're going to use in your presentation. Do not overdo it because it's gonna be boring. Number two, before showing the graph or chart, prepare the audience for it. So bring them first, introduce something, and then bring them that they will not be surprised what you're going to show. So you are guiding them. Number three, give the audience time to understand. Number four, if the movement you want to describe is very complex, simplify it because you know your graph very well. So if you can see the one to the audience actually, if they are, interested with what you are saying. If they feel like you're bored, they're boring, then they were bored. They are bored. Sorry, you're going now to simplify it because you know your graphs very well. Okay. Now, provide an interpretation of the graph's movement. So if it's increased, decreased, stable, or variation, or fluctuated, and then use the TTT method. So TTT is turn, touch, and then talk. And then use interesting and varied language to describe trends. So these, and then you can use the language a while ago that I presented to you. You can use those trends so that you can describe your graphs in presentation or your charts. All right, that's the end of the reading. So I want you to do this activity with your partner, or you can do it alone, and then write your answer and then explain which of the tips above were you or were on your list, and then which are new to you, and then which of the tips do you think are the most useful and why, and then how often do you describe charts or graphs in English, which types of visuals do you most frequently in your presentation. So that was the end of week 9, and where you learned the following. So the two presenters, a while ago you listened the two presenters describing the graphs on page 35. So I hope that you are learning from that. And of course, about James and Gillum on page 41. So that's it for the week 9, and I hope that you are all learning from this. I'm glad that you are still with me until this time, and glad that you are learning from me, and I'm happy to share the learning with you. Thank you so much. That is your task, so please do this one, and then thank you for learning Unit 4, and thank you for having a good learning experience for this unit. So this is my resources. These are my resources. You can check this one out.